Hey everybody, we are live here on Island Talk with Niko Holst. I am Niko Holst, and I'm here with a couple of our normal compadres. We got Ben.
What's
Ben, how
up?
you doing? You've been gone. Where you been?
I've been busy, but I'm back and I'm ready to talk about this episode from last night.
You gonna tell us how bad Jeremy's been playing?
Stop, man. You stop with that. You just stop with that.
All right, cool. We'll let you get into that. Dan, of course, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm still licking my wounds from Survivor trivia on Tuesday, but I'm
You
okay.
suck so bad.
No mercy.
I won the trivia portion, but
You
Dylan
lost the
bested me
strategy portion.
in Jeopardy. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, you need to start watching more Jeopardy if you want to be start besting Dylan. Apparently.
Well, I'm prepping for our Wheel of Fortune Survivor contest, so
And
that's
when is this?
No,
That's not actually happening.
Okay, because I was
Totally-
because I was about to beat y'all. So
Totally was
yeah.
being sarcastic, but if we got
Okay.
that trash talk going, we can make something happen. All right, and then finally we got our guest host tonight, Jude. Jude, what's up?
What is going on? Excited to talk about some Survivor.
All right, Jude, if you want to throw your Twitter out there really quick for anyone who's watching, they want to follow you, they can shoot you some questions there too.
That is at XXSuperJudeXX. I'm Super Jude. You could search it, but some depressed German girl stole my username on Twitter years ago, and I've never been able to get it. So, thus the X's.
Just the X, all right. Awesome.
Damn that
So yes,
German girl.
depressed German girl.
Yeah.
That's incredibly specific, but
You can't make this stuff up. Well, that was her
Unbelievable.
profile. Half Dutch, half German, something. I was like, okay, whatever.
all right. So anyway, so we're live now. We got that out. We got that tweeted out there. I'm getting questions flowing in now, so we're finally. Yeah, I will say one thing to our fans. You guys are phenomenal procrastinators to literally send the questions as the show's starting. This would be so much more helpful if we had people, sending me these yesterday. But whatever, I won't be too nitpicky. We only have 6 fans, so I don't want to alienate the fan base.
They're
But,
sending their questions, their important questions, to better podcasts. We're getting like the leftover questions. That
I know we're getting like the unaccepted. I mean, Rob's got Boston Rob on today, so I mean, how can we compete with that?
We can mock Boston for an hour and a half.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you guys could mock Boston for an hour and a half. I don't have enough experience with that.
We can
But,
mock
I
Rob for
might
needing
listen to that
7
tomorrow.
seasons of TV to win one of them.
Absolutely.
It took
So,
him 6 times to win a TV show. 6 times.
Yeah. Well, he is a good character, though.
It wasn't
He's
6 times,
entertaining.
was it?
Well, two
Yes.
amazing races
Oh,
for
okay.
survivors. So
Yeah.
six total. Plus he had that failed reality show that was on the History Channel, where they around the world in 80 ways or something.
He had
I'm
that
good with
one.
that.
He had the poker one. He had the go
He had
and
the
help
one where-
people's lives one.
The one where everyone got murdered
Yeah.
that he supposedly can't talk about.
Yeah. Right.
Who knows?
Oh, that's right. Tauntons or something.
Yeah, Tauntines or something like that.
that's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
I remember that first time he came on with Rob. Like Rob asked him about it. He's like, "Yeah, I can't talk about that."
Can't talk about that.
Wait, you
Yeah,
guys
well-
are being serious.
Oh,
right
we're
now.
being.
There was a-
Have you not heard of this?
Yes.
No, there was a show Boston Rob was the host on where everyone died.
So, I don't know.
That's a joke. It's that it was $10 million
Oh, okay.
or something. It was going to go on for like a year. It was going to be like Next Level Survivor. They amped it up, and we never heard anything about it again.
And then there's supposedly this documentary called the Taunton Massacre. And here I'm gonna post a link in our chat, Dan, so you can click on it.
Okay.
And you can watch. It's like a 4-minute trailer basically for it, but it never made the air. And every time he's been asked about it, he just says I can't comment on that. So I just posted the IMDb link so you can watch the trailer from there.
It
So
was
if,
a
if
plot like Power Master.
Yeah, it's basically they're gonna like put him on an island, and then something went horribly wrong, and there's like footage of like someone getting murdered ish, like the camera drops, and
Some
it's
girl killed herself over that show too. Like I remember all that.
oh
Back
yeah,
in
it
the
was
day.
it was all over the place.
Yeah.
There were people on like the Facebook page going like, "That was my uncle. This was real. It actually happened." So Josh says, "I sent you several questions hours ago. What are you talking about? What are you talking about,
No,
Josh?"
Josh sent a lot of
Joshy
questions in
boy.
at noon today during
He
my
did?
Twitter beef with Shirin. Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yes, I
well,
love that Twitter. Be slay her. I hate her so
Slater.
much. Slay her.
I didn't see any of those, so I'll let you
That's my
tackle
first-
those ones.
My first Twitter beef with an old Survivor player today. I'm proud of myself.
You could have at least picked a good Survivor player.
I like. The funny thing is, I was like the biggest Shirin defender on this podcast, and
That's
I
'cause
was
you
the
were-
one that got.
That's because you were the only Shirin defender on this
Exactly,
podcast.
because we all hated her. So yeah.
I still.
Hate's a strong word. I'd say I strongly dislike her, but
I
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
see
just like-
her do something strategically, but she just was too frenetic and has been so negative on Twitter this whole season. It's like, take a breath, girl. Take a breath.
Because she
and-
hates men and things that go her way this season. That's why.
All right, Ben. I don't want to go out there and say she hates men.
we'll bring Dan when Dan Foley comes on the show next week. We'll ask him if he thinks that Shireen
next
hates
season.
men. We'll ask him. We'll ask Dan Foley what he thinks if Shireen hates men or not.
I know
And,
what he's.
So is Dan coming on next week?
He's gonna be one of our guests next week. We're probably gonna do a
okay.
couple finale shows. So one of them is like 95% confirmed, and Dan has confirmed. We just haven't figured out a date yet. But I was texting with him last week, and we were setting it up. So
I will be on that show because after Wednesday I'm free from college. So yes.
cool beans. They're finally kicking you out. About time.
No, like I'm
So-
finished with this semester.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the episode. Dan, did you take any notes last night?
No, I've been
Yeah, me
noteless
neither.
the last 2 weeks, but
I did.
I got
I did want to say this about the episode.
nice. Dude.
Okay. Say it, Ben.
Okay, I thought the edit was set like the edit was set for Keith to go home.
Yeah, me too.
Like towards the end, like I didn't know Abby was going home to like the tribal council. I was like,
I
why
felt
is
like
Abby's name being brought up instead of Keith's?
Mhm. I felt like the edit was leading us towards Keith at the beginning. I even told my wife when we were watching, I'm like, Keith's already gotten 2 confessionals. He's completely going home tonight.
Yeah,
And then I thought once he stopped being brought up, I'm like, okay, it's Tasha or Abby. And I kind of felt like it was going to be Tasha. I felt like Tasha was starting to get it more than Abby was.
Yeah.
So, and Abby went home. I was kind of surprised.
I was
Hold
shocked
up,
because
hold
she was
up.
on my team. So
Out
yeah.
of
I
everything
guess
that
you shouldn't have
happened
been
with
shocked.
Abby, there's the one confessional where she starts talking about who she's gonna bring to the end, and for me it
Yeah.
was so out of context with everything else she had said that once I got done laughing, I'm like, why would they put that in there? So I mean, I
Right.
kind of thought, but then I was like, maybe they're misdirecting us. You know,
Right.
maybe they're misdirecting us. But that's great editing. Yeah, I thought it was like Keith doesn't win, he's screwed, he's out. You know, but that's been this whole season. The editing has been really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very misleading. I mean, they've been throwing curveballs at us left and right. So, and I mean, I think even at this point in the game, I think there's still, 3, 4. I mean, I don't think Tasha's going to win. I think at this point, it's Jeremy, it's Spencer, it's Kelly Wentworth. One of those
And
3.
Probably Keith too. Like
Keith ain't
so-
winning. He
I
may
don't
be
see
my
it.
only fantasy player left, and if Keith wins this game, I will podcast the finale butt
Ain't
naked.
gonna happen. They would have given Keith much more airtime.
I will
But
be
Kelly's
butt
the
naked
winner.
in the
She's on my
finale
draft,
if Keith
so-
Nail wins. I will make that declaration.
Kimmy's on my draft, but she's not winning. So. oh
Well, let's just jump out. Who do you guys think wins?
Well, Ben's a huge Kelly Wentworth fan.
No, I'm not. I'm a huge Jeremy fan. I mean, I like Kelly, but
I like
I'm
Kelly.
I'm not.
I think Jeremy wins.
I'm not a fan of her though.
I think Jeremy wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think because I picked Varner at the beginning of the season. He was my number 1 pick on our draft. That was a fantastic 4 weeks of TV. There's been nothing but depression ever since. So I think at the merge, it was either the merge or right after the merge, I revamped my winner pick. And I think I took Spencer. And
A
at
lot
this,
of people think Spencer wins. Yes.
Yeah,
but
a lot of
I
the
think at
casuals
this
think
point,
that.
I'll stick with Spencer, but I think Jeremy's gonna win. I'll stick with my Spencer pick because I think he's got a really good shot.
Yeah. Great
But
shot.
I'm leaning more towards Jeremy now the last couple weeks, and a little bit more away from Spencer. I think Spencer's starting to burn a few people.
Mhm.
He just burnt Steven a couple weeks ago, and even last night he just burnt
Abby?
Keith. He burnt Abby. He burnt Kelly. Because he got in
Okay.
deep with them. They were convinced. They were convinced he was with them, and he totally burned them.
Abby
So
voted, so
I think Abby had no. I think Abby thought their girls' alliance was happening.
yeah. Right.
So
Yeah,
that
Abby
shows
screwed
how.
Keith. Yeah, Abby screwed herself out voting on Keith.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if she voted for Tasha, it was still a
Yeah.
4-3 vote. She was
Yes,
still going to
that's
go
true.
home. So
Speaking of Abby, did y'all read her exit interview? I was dying laughing at
No,
I
I
haven't-
watched the Ponderosa video though.
Oh yes, I watched that too.
yeah, I haven't. I
Oh my
haven't watched
God.
any of the Ponderosa videos. I've been wanting to watch them. I've heard they've been really good.
I never do,
She
but this
hates
season they're
everybody
good.
in her exit interview. Like
Yeah.
she hates everybody but Sierra and Cass.
Yeah.
Really.
Of course.
Yeah, I read the word association with Gordon
Yes.
Holmes, and he definitely wished death upon more than one survivor.
Yes,
And,
yes.
Well, you know what happens. When you fuck with her, you're dead.
Fuck with me or dead.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
and
There was a lot of fucking last night.
it was
I
ironic
watching,
though.
I was watching the Ponderosa video with her, and I'm wondering why they didn't show her versus Wiggles. Like I would like to see that. Why
Because
didn't they show
Wiggles
her?
is as boring in Ponderosa as she was also.
Yeah, but that would have been cool to see her and Abby like
But
when
Wiggles'
against each
face would have had to move though.
other. Yeah.
That's impossible.
Not to be mean. I mean, I was rooting for Kelly because, like, look, I am old school, but she was just so not a factor this season.
Yeah.
That all they
Yeah.
showed Ponderosa, she's just kind of staying there. She's like, oh, well, we kind of didn't get along on some things. And I'm like, yeah, well, she's just
Savage
boring
is so
now, she
bitter.
was
Like,
then.
come on now.
So I got a question from Josh, and the question is, would Abby still be in the game if Spencer didn't have a real life friendship with Tasha? I just don't get the move. No, do you guys think he voted out Abby because him and Tasha had the connection from Cagayan,
No.
or do you think he did it because he didn't want to take her?
Yes.
Or
No,
was it
it
because
was-
Abby was convinced that there's a girls' alliance and he wasn't sure if she was going to vote?
But Spencer
That
and,
way.
and Steven are real life friends, though. And he just fucked him over, so
It's true.
Mhm.
Right in the ass.
personal opinion.
Mhm.
And we got Aaron. Aaron just retweeted or replied to that tweet saying, "I honestly don't think Spencer's ever going to turn on Tasha because of their friendship and their history." See, I don't know. I mean, he might not. But I don't think it'll be because of that. I think it'll be because at this point he's kind of dug his. He's kind of put himself in a corner. He's kind of almost forced to work with Jeremy and Tasha at this point because
Yeah.
if he flips on them now he's burned both sides. And it's kind of dumb for him to go and flip back to the other side now simply because they're not going to be stoked with him. And he's not going to be able to trust him 100% because he's already burned him. So, at least in my opinion, I think at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Spencer, Tasha, Jeremy final three,
I'd
or
agree.
maybe Kimmi sneaks in there somehow. Someone wants to drag her in there as a goat.
Yeah.
But I think if this rolls the way that I think it might roll, I would not be surprised if we see Keith and Kelly go back to back at 6 and 5.
Yeah.
Probably
Unless Kelly
Keith gets
plays that
sick.
idol.
Right, so I think probably Keith goes next. I think it's going to be the 3 Ks going in a row. I think it'll be Keith, Kelly, Kimmi.
No.
Yeah, that's so 3Ks like the Kardashian sisters, you mean?
Yeah.
Totally. I just didn't want to. I got a brother on the podcast.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You don't want to make any Citadel cracks. I don't know if you guys saw that picture today on Twitter of the guys in the Citadel wearing the fucking KKK hoods trying to pretend they were Ghost of Christmas Past. And I'm like, oh my God.
I absolutely
my
did
God.
not see that, but that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. But no, I'm going to agree that, like, I don't think you let Keith to the end because he's too likable and he can win the challenges. I think that Wentworth is such an underdog that, you know, even though, I mean, I think a lot of us could conceivably see her winning and be completely okay on it, but if you're them, how do you let that underdog to the end? Because she's fought so hard.
You know, Jeremy, he's a big physical guy, and it was for him to bring guys like Savage, Spencer, and all these big. He had all these other big threats around him coming to the merge. But I would put it more on his social game than anything else. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Someone grab it.
You guys there? Someone
You
grab
like
it?
it a little
You guys
bit,
are like
Niko.
all frozen on the bottom.
Yeah, no, that happened here too for a second. Your image is
Yeah.
going in and out, but then I could kind of hear the question. Could you rephrase that for me again?
So basically, he's asking, how do you think that Jeremy has went through this game so far without getting a single vote?
Yeah.
And I was just pointing out that I agree that he's been incredibly impressive just because of who he is. And I said I think it's been his social game more than anything else.
They don't even
Yeah,
bring
it's
his
just-
name up.
Yeah.
His name came up once last night.
That's what I'm saying.
Spencer's like, no, we got to do him second.
I think Spencer wants to keep him.
Or what about
Because
after
thinks
he
could
plays
do
that idol on Steven and tells nobody?
And tells
And
nobody.
then comes
they're
back
like, okay.
and no one's talking about voting him out.
They're
Yeah,
like-
that's
And they're like,
crazy.
oh, okay, that's just Jeremy, that rascal.
Yeah.
But you notice how Jeremy plays, and here's the difference between him and Steven. Steven's like, Joe has to go. Joe, right? Joe. And, oh, Steven, you're too smart, you're too good to, you know better than to beat down Jeremy. When they're like, oh, Steven's next, he's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, well, he's never like, this is what's got to happen. He's always like, oh, yeah, well, okay, cool, yeah. But this,
Yeah.
or, yeah, we should do that maybe, but what do you think? Like, that is social game 101, and he's really great at it, actually.
Well, and yeah, and I think with Fishback, I mean, I think he's got that angst. He's just too anxious. He can't sit still. And
And I love Steve.
Jeremy's got those Rodney 3Cs. He's got that Boston CCC.
Yeah.
He's more mature too. Like he's got a wife, he's got kids,
Oh, for sure.
he's a firefighter. He's seen life, and like that's what I kind of see in the
Yeah.
edit. The difference between Jeremy and Spencer's. Spencer's is
Yeah.
all like, I'm growing, I'm evolving, I'm going from a boy to a man, and Jeremy's is like, I have this foundation. I want to win for Val. I want to win for my children, my unborn child. Like, there's more emotional context to that than some kid who's like, I said I love you to my girlfriend. Oh, God, really?
We don't
Yeah.
really care about that. So.
I know.
They milked
Nobody
the fucking
cares.
shit out of that, though. Like,
Yes.
they really tried to make
Of course
us feel
they did,
something.
because Survivor Production has Spencer boners.
They love
Yeah.
him. Probst loves Spencer.
And if he doesn't win, they would be so upset. Like our favorite.
Well,
did not
I
win.
think they're gonna be upset.
I
Can you
think they're
imagine?
pretty-
Can you imagine for real if like Keith wins or Kimmi wins? Like they're just like, we're not gonna show them the editing at all. They're gonna get the Natalie White edit because they're screw them, and then we're just gonna see like this total final three of like Kimmi and Keith and like Spencer or something or
Keith
Tasha,
wins.
and they're pissed at Tasha and Keith wins.
Yeah, Keith wins.
Like, can you imagine this season ending with a Keith win? I mean, it's totally not gonna happen, but I think Survivor Production would be so pissed. Like, how the hell did Keith
Yeah.
Nail win this game?
How's he in the final six?
I would cry.
That's crazy.
Because he
A
balls.
lot of this is
He's
crazy.
a baller.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's like, I just couldn't have predicted this would be the group of people.
I mean,
After this game.
I predicted Spencer would be this far, but like, other than that, that's about it.
And what's wild is the three Hanapu do not work together. Like, how
Right.
many
I know,
have
they're
they
all
been on? So you can't even say it's because they're a unified tribe, because they're not at all. like, I think Keith is just here because he wasn't a strategic threat, so he wasn't getting axed during that early jury phase. He wasn't a physical threat like a Joe or didn't hold an advantage like Steven. I think he was just that kind of guy that, okay, yeah, we know he's good in challenges, but we could beat him at some point in a puzzle.
Right. It's like, what's the worst he's going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
like,
more than likely.
Keith was good at carnival games. You know,
yeah, Keith was good last night, though.
Knock it over. Yeah, he was good.
Keith is the king of the ball and shaft challenges. Anything involving a pole or a pair of balls, that man has got it on lock.
Oh, speaking of that,
that is years of expertise.
Yeah, speaking of that challenge from last week, Keith Keith failed, right? Yeah. So did y'all notice that Keith wasn't like back at camp or like something? Because I read online that he collapsed right after Joe, but like I think they focused on Joe but not towards Keith. So yeah, I think he collapsed because that's what I read online.
I don't know. I believe it. I saw the way he staggered after he dropped his pole and won. So I believe the fact he might have had some problems after that one.
They probably
he just had his pole up too long, and
they could have just checked him out. Yeah. Safe too. Like, hey, this guy collapsed. This other guy might not be in great shape. You know.
Yeah, like I don't think holding someone back for like 30 minutes or an hour to maybe make sure they're safe to play the game's that big of a deal. But I understand what Ben's saying. Like, they probably would have given us some of that focus on Keith's like struggle if he was going to have an overall impact on the win. It's something you probably want to see if you're rooting for Keith. I would have liked to see it. I like Keith. Yeah. But instead we got Joe and Joe's struggle and ultimate demise. So maybe that speaks about where Keith's going, and I think Niko might be right about the 3Ks going home.
I'd have to agree. I mean, Keith is like the most obvious, but in the way I see it going down, when Probst in the next week on says, for the first time ever, I'm assuming you guys being fans thought the same thing I thought. 2 idols get played same time, no votes.
Yeah. It's either that or a tie at the final tribal council. Like,
I got more worried than that. I got more worried. I thought we were going to get a Final Four facing the jury. And for some reason, just because I always think
I don't think that's going to happen.
What's the worst thing they could do? Happen. I know it probably won't happen, but I'm just saying, what's the worst thing Jeff could do to make me hate life? And it's have a Final Four.
Hands.
Oh yeah. God, no.
No, how about at the Final 3, they bring back Russell Hantz to face the jury? No, I just think, like, I don't know. I
haven't even made in the game. You can't be pissed at me.
The greatest of all time. I'm
the greatest of all time. So we did have a question from Aaron saying something epic's going to happen next week. This never happened in 31 seasons. What could it be? Any predictions? So I figured while we're talking about it, I'd address this question. So, I mean, do you guys have any, like, legit guesses?
There's only two.
The idol plays?
Yeah, there's only two guesses. Either one is the idol plays, Jeremy and Kelly. They both played the idols, and they both get 3 votes each on each other, I think.
Right.
Or it could be a tie at the final tribal council.
They have contentions in place for that, but they really don't want ties. And it's one of these things you hear. Right. I don't know the validity of it, but I think they let him know that they don't really want a tie.
Immediately on the island.
Yeah. I think it's got to be a double idol play where all votes are nullified.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are not, so you could potentially have 3 people immune. And so
it might be a rock
3
draw.
People left.
It might be a rock draw.
Oh, a 3-person rock draw. Brutal. I would love that.
I don't know. If you get the idol play at 5, you only have 2 people left in that revote. So
I was thinking at 6, right? At 5.
Oh, at 6, yeah. But it could say like Keith goes home at 6, or something crazy happens, and then you have Kelly and Jeremy there.
Can they play their idols at 5? Is 5 the last place they can play it, or is it 6? Okay.
It's 5.
I think 5.
I couldn't remember.
So if they both play it at 5, and then you have that person wearing immunity, you're going to have only 2 people vulnerable in the revote, and 3 people voting. So you're going to have someone go home in that situation. Happens at 6, we could see rocks. Crazy things have happened like that. Not that crazy, but...
Yeah,
but that would be interesting, because if you're at 6, and let's say it's Spencer, Jeremy, Tasha on one side, and Keith and Kelly and Kimmi on the other side. But that'd be interesting to see if that happens, because Kimmy's been voting with Jeremy, but then didn't we see? Was there not a clip that we saw that was Kimmi and Keith talking to each other about making a deal?
Right, and that's something that I was thinking about. Like, does that come back to bite her in the ass? Because Keith is already on the outside of that group. But what happens if suddenly, like, hey, why is Kimmi starting to get like this now? That could definitely bite her in the ass.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just happy to see Kimmy's smart enough to see, like, it looks like she's realizing she has to play a little game down the stretch here. So just can't coattail ride with the Jeremy and Spencer or Tasha, whatever she was thinking. Maybe she's going rogue here, taking shots at maybe Jeremy or Tasha. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, because otherwise you end up like Jerry in Heroes vs. Villains, just expecting to get taken into the end. You're not really playing, and all of a sudden just getting clipped.
Yeah. And
having no idea what happened. I'd rather go out at 6, gunning for my life and trying to get myself in control than depending on Russell Hantz at Final Four. Or, to be fair, to depend on Russell Hantz at any vote. But
yeah. Man, could you imagine if he had watched Survivor, do you think he would have won? Maybe?
No.
What was that again? Sorry, it lagged out on my side.
Russell never watched Survivor before he went on. So he thought it was basically...
Same with Tony.
Naked and Afraid with this, kind of like, oh, the most macho guy wins at the end. Everybody will know I controlled the game and award me for it. But he was so horrible and awful to people that they're like, fuck you. Why the fuck would I give you $1, let alone $1 million, when you're such an asshole? And in everything I've heard about him, because I know people, and it was the whole thing that last season's winner Mike was saying, where he was calling him, Russell the rapist and all this shit, because he was saying, like dick pics to all these women and all that stuff. So, it's just one of those random things I wonder, like, does watching the show give you an advantage? But like you had said, Tony never watched, and he figured it out.
I don't know. I think watching and understanding are different things, and I don't know if Russell will
I'm getting terrible leg on my side.
Really fundamentally understand the game at its purest level. I think he only views it as like I'm not gonna say he's kind of like a sociopath view, but if he doesn't view it with any emotion. It's more like a business trip, kind of Brian Heidick style, and I think that doesn't really work for you very often.
No, because they gotta like you. They gotta want to vote for you.
I think.
Sorry.
There have been unlikable winners, I feel, but I think you have to seed the jury in a way and get the right people to the end with you. And Russell's never really managed to do that, and where he's failed is he can't seed the jury, and his social game is so poor that. I just don't know where he can improve if he ever played again, because he would never get to the end based on past reputation. But if he did, would we see someone who's shown this like capacity to change who he is? I don't think so, based on what you're saying, Jude, and what I've seen on Twitter from him. It doesn't seem like he's the most stable personality all the time.
Yeah, definitely not. And then, I mean, when you come to, like, knowing that you need the votes, so let's bring this back to Spencer. Like, why would you want to go to the end with Jeremy? Spencer's good at talking. He says things that the cameras like, and I guess he's got to have a good social game because people look out for him. I'm just wondering, like, is he actually too much of a functional game bot to get to the end and then beat, a Jeremy? Like, I don't think Tasha wins. I like Tasha. Like, for some reason, people were really pissed at her last night, but I like her, but I think maybe she rubs people the wrong way without even meaning to, so I don't think she can win a jury vote. But, I mean, if you're, like, I guess I'm just going back to why wouldn't you get rid of Jeremy?
Well, I'm not a huge Tasha fan, and I want to get your opinion on it from this perspective, because Tasha brought up the kind of the fact that the fans voted us onto the show. They want to see someone, yeah, they want to see a deserving winner, and she kind of made it sound like herself, Spencer, and Jeremy were the deserving people in the game, worthy of going to the end, and kind of Kimmi, Kelly Wentworth, Keith, Abby, Maria, less worthy. I personally, I don't think anyone's worthy of getting to the end. I think you reap what you sow. If you get to the end, you get to the end. And do you think Spencer made his decision based on that? Based on he couldn't, as a Survivor fan, go to the end with those people? Because me as a Survivor fan, I would want to get to the end with as many goats as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no doubt. And he said, I'd love to be in the end with. But here's the thing, right? So you could want that, but if he starts pushing that agenda, I mean, but, Spencer was immune, but it was like he made a point to say about the wees, well, my wee might be great today, but where does that leave me tomorrow? So I think he's already thinking ahead that, okay, yeah, we could do this, and I could try to keep Abby in the game, but what happens if someone's like, actually, let's keep Abby and fuck Spencer, I think he's just trying to think about, and this is where I think they're all locked in right now, is just getting to the end. Not even really who's the best person to beat right now, because they just voted out the best person to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly. So I think it's more about, I think they're so mind fucked from all the crazy blind sides that it really is just about getting to the end and making your case versus bringing some goats with you to the end. Or they would have kept Abby. I mean, I have to say.
I thought Abby Maria kind of got the Courtney Merritt treatment there, getting voted out, because everyone realized she was going to the end if she stayed in the game.
Right.
So I see that angle where Spencer kind of was like, well, if I get rid of Abby Maria, that's a spot in the final three that's cleared up now, because that's probably a lockdown spot if she stays in any further.
Right.
So, yeah, Niko, are you finally back with us? Can I hand over the reins to you again? Because I'm not looking at these questions. No, Niko's not back.
Can you hear me?
A little bit.
So I'm on my phone right now. For whatever reason, my Wi-Fi is having issues.
Isn't that amazing?
Get out of Washington.
No, I live in the city. I generally don't have issues with this. But my computer was lagging, and it restarted itself it set itself for an update. So right now my laptop's updating. So I'm on wireless. I'm not even running on my Wi-Fi. I'm on my phone network. So.
What kind of phone do you have?
6S Plus.
Yeah, baby.
So, yeah.
Phone buddies.
Stop lying, man. Stop lying.
So.
I got a 6S Plus too, but this is rose gold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.